Hello and welcome to Talking Good Games. Just finished West Ham United 0, Brighton and Hove Albion 2 at the London Stadium. We're here to discuss the highlights and the overall performance, and I'm sure a little bit of stuff away from the pitch as well. Gonzo, let's start with the first 15, 20 minutes prior to the penalty. What did you make of the opening affair from West Ham?
From West Ham, for both teams, it was relatively even. I thought we had good energy, better energy than I anticipated. Too many long balls for my liking at the start. We were hoofing it an awful lot, but you know, it was an evenish game. You know, put it that way. Yeah, I would say even balanced up until the penalty decision. To be honest with you, Gio.
I thought it was an enthusiastic start, I guess, from West Ham. I think the whole first half, I think I could sum up that Brighton looked calm and composed, where we looked a little bit hurried and rash, probably, that we were a little bit under pressure. I felt like I was watching a team under pressure that didn't really have too much plan other than get from A to B as quickly as possible and in as few passes as possible and hope something magically happens once you get to B. But when Brighton were on the ball, I felt like they were knocking about nice. They had a game plan. It was quite clear what the game plan was. And the contrast of the two teams in regards to style and confidence was, I felt, quite obvious from the off, really. But the penalty incident then came about. Kurt Zouma losing the ball, Kehrer conceding the penalty. What did you make of the whole thing?
Yeah, I made them equally culpable, to be perfectly honest with you. I thought it was ridiculous. I don't know why he's doing that. I just don't know why Zouma's doing that at all. All right, make a little run at the pitch, but then he's just not a part. He's not, you know, possibly our worst passer of the ball. I don't know what was going on. But to be fair, I think he started the game. I thought he was David Beckham at the start of the game. So no surprise he decided to do that. But I just don't know why he did. And it just left a ton of space to run into. Soufal was never going to catch the guy. And I thought the tackle was rash, really. That being said, I think whoever Zouma had been played with there, I think the only one that would have got across was Kehrer. I don't think anyone else. I mean, if it was Dawson, he wouldn't have got across in time, or Bonner wouldn't have got across in time anyway. But he got there. He didn't have to be so rash. He could have just showed him wider, Gio. There's other stuff he could have done rather than go in like that. I can only assume he wasn't expecting the counter-attack because he probably wasn't expecting Zouma to give the ball away like that. I don't know. It was really weird. It was absolutely a penalty. I know they did the VAR to see whether it was, you know, incrementally over the line, but you can have no complaints of conceding that penalty. It's a double mistake from West Ham, and we concede a penalty and concede a goal.
I've never seen the Zouma part, so I can't comment on that bit. I've seen loads of people blame Kurt Zouma. That's fine. I'm looking forward to seeing it back. I'm not really, but I'll see it back later. But I can only talk about what Kehrer did and then afterwards. It is a rash challenge, but this is what he did in the Bundesliga when we were League 2. I said he's an aggressive centre back. He can be rash. Still got that. He's a needless challenge to make. He doesn't need to try and do that. There's minimal contact between him and Danny Welbeck, but when you're traveling at that speed, minimal is all it takes for you to get knocked over legitimately as well. I know it went to VAR. It's probably more outside the box than it is inside, but it's on the line, and on the line is considered in the box. So it's a penalty as far as I'm concerned. Really well taken penalty by Mac Allister as well. And then halftime 1-0 Brighton. What did you make of the first half overall, Gonzo?
Well, you've got to put it in two sections for me. As I say, I thought we were energetic and we contested it. If anything was going to happen, it was probably going to come from Mikel Antonio. Then we conceded that goal. And then, quite frankly, it became embarrassing. I mean, really, really embarrassing, Gio. Brighton were creating art, and we didn't look like we could fill out a colouring book. It was terrible, truly terrible. Actually, we couldn't hurt Brighton. We had not only no means to unlock them, but we didn't have any ideas. It's one thing not having the ability. We didn't even have the thought process to know how to unlock them at that point, really. And I mean, when I say embarrassing, you know me, I've said this, whatever, 7 years we've been doing this. I tend not to get embarrassed by stuff, but sometimes it just gets embarrassing. So it reminds me of, I never enjoyed watching the start of the X Factor or Britain's Got Talent when they put the crap people on at the start who think they can sing but they can't sing, and I always think, it just makes me cringe a bit. I was watching us cringing actually. I thought it was awful, but there was one thing I knew it was that bad, and it was as bad as I've seen. There's one thing that's going to be guaranteed here, because David Moyes surely can't be liking what he's seeing. He's going to make a change at half time, right? That's what I thought. I was sure of it.
The last 10 minutes of the first half, I actually thought we were getting plenty of the ball. The problem is we were doing fuck all with it. We were just passing it about, and now and again we'd hit a cross into the box. Sanchez would come out and catch it. Happy days. Let's go again. Brighton pass the ball about. West Ham win it back. We knock it about. Give it to Rice, who stands there with his arms out, going, "There's no one to pass to. I'll give it back to you. You pass it, then someone else can cross it this time. Sanchez, come out, catch the ball." And it was just the gaps between our players is just ridiculous. The front four are so detached from each other, who are then so detached from the centre midfield. It's such a fragmented display from the first half from us. I had no confidence that we were going to score, and I had no confidence that we were going to do substitutions which would allow us to go and score in the second half either. And in all honesty, at half-time, I generally thought, can we just make it full-time now, and I'll take the 1-0 defeat here, because I'm not looking forward to the second half whatsoever. I've got no confidence. Half the players don't look like they can be arsed. It's only the third game of the season, and half of them already look like they can't be bothered. The other half were trying. I thought Said Benrahma was putting in, I want to call it a brave performance in the first half. He was running at his man and trying to get the ball in. The problem is the crosses were going in the box and the keeper was catching them. But there was nothing. There's little creativity. There's no imagination. Our centre midfielders, when they did get the ball and there was nothing on, stood, looked at the front four with their arms out, and then passed the other centre midfielder or the centre back and knocked it about a little bit until they got it back and repeated the same process as if something magical was going to happen. Unfortunately, not. And at half time, had this been 45 minutes on its own, I think I'd been relatively okay. I'd have said, all right, we're 1-0 down, but if it was 0-0, I don't think Brighton could have had too much complaints either. They've probably been a better team on the ball. They haven't really tested Fabianski that much. But it's not 45 minutes on its own. It's the fifth half of Premier League football that we've seen, that we've continued to play the same way in all five halves now. It goes back to probably November last season, really. Since then, we've been absolutely dreadful. And it's a continuation of that. And the second half, though, I thought we started quite well, Gonzo, for the first 15 minutes until the 61st minute, to be exact. And I'll get onto that why in just a minute. Until the 61st minute, I thought we came out, tails up. I thought the crowd got up on their feet, started encouraging the players a bit more. They were reacting to what they were seeing. I thought we started to have a little bit of a go. We're getting better crosses in the box. Fernandez had a shot. Antonio and Benrahma both broke on occasions. The cross were either overhit or into the hands of Sanchez. We were starting to get up the pitch a little bit more, move the ball a bit faster, keep it on the deck a little bit more.
I guess so. I just thought we were a bit more motivated. Obviously, Cresswell had a shot that was blocked. I mean, I don't think it gone in anyway. The keeper was in good form. But it was nice for us not to be hanging something up for the goalkeeper to catch, which was nice. I thought, obviously it was a good cross from Cresswell as well. We did have a little bit of momentum. It has to be said. We looked like we could. As I say, we were motivated because we'll be discussing this for quite some time over the next few days, I'm quite sure, because this is not a motivated bunch of players. It's not a happy camp at all. But they did, for that little part, they did look that. It's funny actually that you say 61 minutes, because I've written down 59 minutes on my pad here. And it was the point where he was about to do the substitutions, because what happened was, and you're right, Benrahma had been trying. He had been trying, and really, the shameful thing is, I was looking at him. Come on, can you please do something? Because it don't look like anyone else can, apart from Antonio, maybe. But it wasn't happening for Benrahma today. And then it's 59 minutes, 30 seconds, something like that. It was a 50-50 pulled out the tackle, and I thought, right, your number's up. The subs are already on there, but he didn't. He didn't actually change him. What he did do, though, was I don't know how long we're going to talk about this season, but we'll talk about it again. The midfield was dysfunctional. The central midfield is completely dysfunctional. It is not. Well, it's broken. Our creative hub and the core of our team is broken at the moment. So I was really surprised he pulled that tactical. I just thought I just thought Fred Downs was coming on. You just had to. You had to do something else and do something in that middle. Do something with Thomas Souček. It's going to tell a little lie at the end because it's going to look like, oh, we got on the end of Cresswell's cross and he had a header. And I think I know how this is going to play out really, but it was truly awful. And then the substitutions were made, and I just thought it's. Look, I'll tell you what I want to know. This is what I want to know. Did David Moyes think in the second half that we were going to get what he did, the substitutions, the tactics? Did David Moyes think we were going to get back into that game? Because the players didn't. The players had no belief that they were going to get back into that game. You want to go after they scored the goal. Once it was 2-0. We weren't even bothered, mate. Honestly, we weren't even bothered. There was no way we were getting into it. And I'll tell you what. Sorry, I know I'm going on a bit of a rant here. Quite frankly, Mark Warburton sat up there in the technical area with all these computers, and he's looking through it. Got Paul Nevin there on the touchline. You've got Kevin Nolan with his iPad, and David Moyes and basically collectively they're all getting completely outsmarted. I know it's not just one guy at Brighton, but it sort of looked like that. I know you. And I thought this is it was just a hard bloody watch, G. I'm very, very frustrated with what I saw.
The two substitutions was massive for me. I wouldn't have taken Ben Rama off at all. I think, he ended up taking Fornals off. I wouldn't have taken Fornals off. I couldn't believe he took him off. Now, Fornals wasn't having the best game, but if we're going to play a 4-2-3-1, I feel that Fornals is pivotal to being in that team because of his work ethic and what he does off the ball. And when he took him off, I thought Ben Rama was our most likely player to do something going forward. I thought Bowen was poor again today. I didn't think he was making much happen on the other side. I thought if anything was going to come from West Ham, it was going to come from down our left-hand side with Saeed Ben Rama. So in the result of taking Fornals off is you move Ben Rama infield. Since he went infield, I didn't see him at all for the other half hour until he got subbed. He was gone. Moyes took him out the game completely by moving him in there, putting him Antonio out on the left, who was having a good game in the middle. So you took a good guy, having a player that was playing okay. Now, Ben Rama wasn't fantastic, but I thought he was looking at our most likely creator. So it took him on the left, Antonio, who I thought was having a relatively good game in the middle, and took them out of those positions, put Skamaka on, who then did nothing in the game, and took Fornals off. And I just thought, what have you done? But a minute later, or 90 seconds later, whatever it is, Graham Potter does a substitution, which is the equivalent of getting one great big massive fish and going up to David Moyes and going, wallop! There you go.
In less than a minute, he did the sub. He saw David Moyes
to do this because at half time I felt we got a little bit narrower in the second half. First half they were overloaded in midfield. Our centre midfield couldn't cope. Second half we came out. Fornals was a little bit deeper, a tighter midfield from West Ham. It was working. We were on top. So what does Potter do? All right, so they're giving me space out wide. Brilliant. New 18 million left wing back. Over you come. You go on. Trossard, you go central. Sorted. He shuffles the deck a little bit. Bang. 2-0 Brighton. Ball in. I think it's Mac Allister. Fantastic through ball into the feet of Pascal Gross. Something our two centre midfielders didn't do in 90 minutes. Straight into his feet. One touch. Lovely touch. Kurt Zouma out the game completely. Trossard's through and goal. Fantastic finish. 2-0 Brighton. And even though it's only 66 minutes in, Gonzo, 5 minutes after the substitution, it's game over.
Yeah, and we had no answer. It was a puzzle. And it was a frustrating thing because I was looking at us staring at a puzzle and we had no idea. Honestly, it's like a crossword to a toddler. I mean, honestly, looking at it, they don't even recognise what they're seeing. Never mind the fact that they knew it was a puzzle. And I think that's the embarrassing part about it. And I've been going on about this all summer. It's really important for David Moyes and his morale and his self-esteem as a manager that he can't keep letting this same guy beating him. If it was a boxing match, he wouldn't keep getting the rematch. Do you know what I mean? It's like Tyson Fury fighting Wilder again. There's no point because Fury's just going to beat him up. There's no point. No one wants to see the fourth fight, basically. And this is unfortunately what's happening. And it's painful watching. It's like lambs to the slaughter. It really is. And I don't mean overall, and I don't mean in terms of his career or anything like that, but in Brighton against West Ham, in Potter against Moyes, it's a complete and utter mismatch. It really is. And I don't know. I'll be really. Actually, do you know what? There's part of me that doesn't want to hear the press conference actually, because I think it could be painful, and I think we might get a load of cliches. I'm far from confident that the correct questions will be asked in it anyway. But this, in terms of personal pride, has got to be almost like a killer blow for him. You know, basically, I can't beat this guy. I cannot beat this guy. It doesn't matter what I do. But I'll tell you what does he do? Well, precious little different to what he always does. There was no innovation. There was nothing. And if you're not at this point, when clearly you are getting beaten, if you can't throw 2 strikers up then I'll tell you what, then you're never going to do it. Because you saw an inkling and you saw a glimpse when Skamaka nodded the ball down to Souček. You saw a glimpse of what a partnership could do. I'm not suggesting that should be the partnership. All I'm saying is you see what you get when you put one forward up there and you have another forward in really close proximity. You get a bounce of the ball in the box and something can happen. And he just won't do it. And he refuses to do it. And I'm not going to give the old cliche about the old quote about the definition of madness. Everybody knows it, but it's the same, and it's the same crap, and it's the same. He's got no answers. He just has none, and he needs to understand the value of what he's doing in terms of morale to everybody, and I mean the players as well. Just everybody. It's just not good enough, and it's so bad that even our bright sparks, people like Cornet, people like Skamaka, must be coming onto that pitch, and even there you can see their confidence and their self-belief drain. And new players are probably looking thinking, what on earth have we joined here? I tell you what, confidence and tactics seem rock bottom, and that ain't good.
Anyway, finished 2-0. We got worse. Every substitution we made, we got worse, and every substitution Brighton made, they got more and more comfortable within the game, and it finished 2-0. The statistics of the game will be misleading, and we probably had more shots on target come the end of 90 minutes because of Souček's 2 headers at the end of the game. The first one was a great header, a fantastic save by Sanchez. The second one sort of glanced off Bowen, hit Souček on the head more than anything. But again, another really good save by Sanchez. So statistically, you're looking at the numbers, there's probably not much between the two teams today. And like I said, as an isolated game, I'd be a lot calmer today. I'd say, right, okay, we've got beaten by the better team. Fine. But you can't do that. I know we often say we're talking about the game. But usually when we win, we'll be negative. And people say, yeah, but we're still 5th in the league. Cheer up, boy. Hang on, we're just talking about the game here.
Yeah.
But it's hard to ignore this. That's 5 points in the last 30 potential points in the Premier League for West Ham United under David Moyes. Our form is atrocious, and it goes right back to last season. And I know it's a different season, but the thing is, we're picking the same players. David Moyes has told us in the last couple of days some players are not playing as well as he did 18 months ago. Well, he's still picking the same fucking players. He's after the Man City game. He said, "Oh, the attack's looking a bit stale." I'll tell you what's looking stale. Your fucking lineup and the tactics we're playing. That's what's looking stale. Potter, we all knew what West Ham were going to do today. We've got £50 million worth of wingers and strikers sat on the bench today in Skamaka and Cornet. We all knew they wouldn't start. I mean, Moyes basically told us they're not ready for Premier League football. You got to ease them in. Why? Why do you have to ease them in? What does easing them in even mean? The only way they're going to adapt to Premier League football is by playing in the fucking Premier League, believe it or not. So get them in the pitch. You know, did they have to start today? No, they didn't. But at halftime, you're 1-0 down. You've almost got a free hit to make a couple of substitutions then to try something different. Fans will understand. What fans can't understand is why you put the same team back out onto the pitch and not change your tactics. And even when he did the substitution, which was Skamaka on, he stuck with the same flipping tactics. He still played a 4-2-3-1 or a version of it. He just moved the personnel around. The formation that wasn't working. It wasn't the personnel wasn't working. You know, Finals, who he took off, I thought was given 100%. Whether he's good enough or whether he's in form at the minute or not is up for debate. But whether he puts in effort or not, I personally don't feel is up for debate. He gives 100%. But so it's not the people that's not necessarily working. It's your tactics that are not working. Potter had you over a barrel. And like I said, I do feel he tweaked at halftime. We got a bit narrower in the second half. I felt like we really started to outnumber Brighton defence in the middle of the pitch, but that opened up space on the wings. That's why we saw a hell of a lot more of Solly March in the second half up against Anna Cresswell. And what does Potter do? It took him literally a minute to go, right, okay, I see what you're doing now. I'm going to get my new left winger over there. I'm going to move Trossard out of there. and I'm going to put him into that middle of the pitch, and bang, it was 2-0. And it was just one of them. I don't know, I say chuckle. I didn't chuckle. I just dropped my head and say, oh, here we go again. Because it feels like it's the same thing I've seen time and time again. It's just we're in horrendous form at the minute. One thing I'm really pleased at is that the transfer window is still open so that we can go and get in another couple of players. But he needs to change this attitude of we need to ease. There's no easing him in. If Emerson arrives next week, there's a good chance he's going to have to play against Aston Villa. There's a good chance that Cornet is going to have to play against Aston Villa as well. You can't keep playing the same flipping team and complaining it's not working, then playing the same flipping team. At some point, the manager has to put his hands up and say, I fucked this one up. This one's on me. And today is massively one of those games. Were the players faultless? No, absolutely not. When we do the player ratings tomorrow, there'll be some players on low marks. But the point is, they shouldn't have been on the pitch, those players. The players that were poor today probably shouldn't have started. When we read the comments on the preview section, the build-up show, whatever, there's certain players that people don't want to see start. They've started again today, and lo and behold, they've probably not been good enough. And there's only one man responsible for that, and that's the man in the dugout complaining. The players that he's picking is not good enough. This one, as far as I'm concerned, this one is pretty much on the manager for me today, because he hasn't changed anything. He's done the same old, same old. And like I said, the word stale is David Moyes' choice of word. And that was stale from the manager.
No, I totally agree, but I question where his motivation is. This is my point here. But, just a bit of personal pride, a bit of professional pride. Hold on, this guy Potter keeps getting the better of me. What are we going to do, lads? We've got to do something. We've got to go in with something different. But there's no difference. There's no change. And it's almost, David Moyes is the man in these press conferences. At the start of each season, talks about marginal gains, small points, Chelsea a couple of seasons ago finished 2 points above us. Where do we get those 2 points from? The small margin of just overhauling Manchester United. Yet every season he surrenders points to this manager who clearly has the better of him. So where is? I just don't get it. I don't get. You'd expect him to be motivated he's frozen. Honestly, he's like a deer caught in the headlights, frozen to inactivity, to actually combat what was become his Premier League foe. And as I said, if it was every season you were getting beaten by Manchester City, you'd understand it. You really would. Okay, they got good players, they got a good manager, they keep getting better. But it doesn't seem to matter. Every season, Graham Potter can lose his best player. They can basically hemorrhage money. He can bring in cheaper options, but he can still rock up and walk over West Ham United, even though we might have spent another 100 million. Basically, they're down on last season. We're 100 million pound up, yet they come and they steamroller us, and they look, quite frankly, they look a class above. And not just that, they look like they've got ideas. Potter might change formation, but you see what they want to do. He's definitely got a philosophy. When you look at David Moyes and say, what is your philosophy? What are we trying to do? I do not understand it. From the moment I saw Zuma either trying to come out in defence like he's Franz Beckenbauer, or trying to hit balls like David Beckham. I just don't know what was going on. I really don't know what the plan of the team is. But
he's probably fed up watching those ahead of him doing fuck all with the ball himself. I'll have a pop then. If you lot ain't going to do anything, I'm going to do something. For the last 2 games, I've stood back there with one knee. You've done nothing, so now I'm going to try and do something. Like I said, I'm not actually seeing it. It sounds like stupidity from him. But I can understand if he's getting pissed off at the lack of creativity further up the pitch, because the rest of us are in all.
Well, they're all going to be. This is the problem. Now you have got a problem there whereby already the players are pissed off. And actually, he's been going on about we need a different style of player, a different caliber of player. When I first joined the club, we were getting away from relegation. I had to bring in a dogged, scrapping type of player. Now I want to bring in. So I'll tell you what. If he's not careful, he'll find himself in the same situation. He'll find himself in January having to buy those sort of players again, because at the moment, I look at the players and they don't have any sort of belief at all. And I don't know how he's going to get them motivated. And I'll tell you what, do you know what? I could honestly, I'll leave it, because it's it's a bit negative on the whole oversight thing. And this is just one game. This is the review on just one game. What I will say is what has been evident in all the games this season is the problem in midfield. And I don't just want to pick on one player, but if I don't, I'm not saying everyone played well and one player played poorly.
Well, good, because I was just a way to ask you for your individual performance.
Okay, well, I'd say the individual. This cannot carry on with Souček. I mean, how does he... Why does he not get substituted? I just don't understand it.
Because he looks like our most dangerous player. He's the most likeliest player of scoring again today for us. Granted, it was twice in the last 5-10 minutes or whatever. There was that in that spell when I thought we played well in the first 15 minutes, second half. That ball come in, I think it was it Creswell, Ben Rama? It came in from the left, really sharp, low cross, and Webster just got there by Souček. Yeah. But Souček again is the one there. Causing a bit of bother. If Souček was under 6 foot, he wouldn't play.
No, he wouldn't. And you're right. And I understand. But what it does, it surrenders midfield because we don't have anyone to pass and move. I know you don't disagree. I'm not arguing, but it surrenders central midfield. And this is massively a problem for us because it's happening time and time again. And do you know what? I just think by the time you brought Scamacca on, we've got someone in there. If that's what it is, it's the tall guy with a head in. We've got someone on there. Put someone in the middle. At least we can retain some possession. Allow the forward players, the wide players to get into advanced positions. Control some of the play. But honestly, I'm telling you now, the central midfield at the moment is broken. And there is no attacking. But we can't unlock the door. We don't know the puzzle. We don't know how to attack. We do not know how to get on them from central areas. We just haven't got a clue. And, well, as you say, he's got 10 days, whatever it might be, to address that. And I'll tell you what, that's significant. And he better bring on somebody that can really, really do something because I think David Moyes always thinks that the problem is defensively. We can't score a goal at the moment.
I'm going to try and inject myself with a bit of positivity, believe it. I know we just lost 2-0 and I've had a bit of a rant, but that's because I feel incredibly frustrated with what I've just witnessed. I think it's because this is what I expected. Usually when you expect something that happens, you don't get disappointed because it's what you thought. Billy Connolly said, expect nothing and you can't be disappointed. So you expect nothing from the game. How can you get disappointed? Well, I think it's because I predicted this to happen. I think it was you once said it to me. I don't mind predicting things and getting it wrong. So what? I hate when I predict it and you get it right, though. That's a problem. Yep. And it's a bit like that today. Most people predicted if we played this usual team, we would lose today. Lo and behold, it's happened. And that's why I've got wound up. Right. But here's a little bit of positivity. I thought Antonio looked quite good today, actually. Not beast mode Antonio, but mini beast mode Antonio. And that's usually enough in games where he plays like that. We win games or we score goals off the back of it, but we didn't today. And if anything, that's a concern that Antonio turned up. He was holding defenders off, good defenders as well, linking the play up well. But then as soon as he got shunted out on the left, gone. He was just out the game completely. I didn't see him. Once Scamacca was on the pitch, didn't see Antonio. Now I was looking, when I saw Scamacca warming up, I thought, here we go. I'm looking forward to this. Scamacca and Antonio up front together. Can't wait for this. But we didn't get that. We got Antonio out on the left and Scamacca up front 15 yards away from anybody else in the team. Yeah. Now, the one thing, I haven't seen enough of Scamacca in Italian football, so I can only go based off what I have seen of him at West Ham thus far. And he's certainly no get the ball down, turn and run at defenders like Antonio is from what I've seen at West Ham so far. So if that is how Scamacca's going to play, what we've witnessed in Claret and Blue, then you need to get people next to him. You can't just leave him 15, 20 yards on his own and ping the ball to him and say, there you are, mate, do something. Because Antonio at times can. At one point in the second half earlier on, he did. He brought it down, he turned around, moved forward, played it off and got into the ball. I thought, that fantastic. I've not yet seen Scamacca do that. But Scamacca's going to have to do that if we're going to keep playing like this. But in order to get the best out of him, you saw it against the Danish team I saw against Nottingham Forest it was. The ball come in, bang, chest it down, there you go, have a shot. Now, Creswell took off in the wrong direction. But the point is, that was a clue there. Scamacca wants somebody to play alongside. He did it against, on Thursday night, he looked sharp, playing in little small triangles with Jared Bowen outside the area as well. We bring him on today and abandon all support for him completely. So there you go, mate. At one point, someone launched the ball at him. I think it was Webster, just sort of half grappled. Scamacca didn't even move. He just watched it bounce over his head, sort of shrugged and said, what's this? What is this? Even if I go and contest that, what am I meant to do? Head it 25 yards to my nearest teammate? It was frustrating, really, because I think there was one or two players played half decent. The problem is 8 or 9 of the other players didn't play well. And the one player I thought was really disappointing today was Declan Rice. I thought he was awful again today. his body language is somewhat concerning me.
I don't think he wants to be it, yeah, and I don't blame him.
His body language is concerning. Like I said, I do have sympathy for him. In the first half, consistently, he's got his arms out, going, well, who am I meant to pass to? And they're all just stood looking at him, static, staring back, going, well, do something, Declan. And he's probably thinking, well, I'm trying, but you've got to do something for me to do something. But poor today, I would have liked to see him step up. I think I am probably scraping a barrel here, but I'm wondering if we're missing Stuart Pearce or how much are we missing Mark Noble. We knew the impact of Mark Noble was going to be big, but is it actually bigger than we anticipated? Have we picked a captain based on keeping him at the club rather than what is the best captain for the football club? I don't know. I love Declan. I think he's a fantastic talent. I think as a person, I think he's brilliant. I think he's a really good sort of ambassador for West Ham United as well. But from what I've seen from him this season, it's nowhere near the standard we've come to expect. And today was another one of those games, unfortunately. There's something not quite right with him, I don't think. And I wish I knew what it was so we could make it better. Not letting him leave, that is. But I don't know, Gonzo. There's just far too many problems. It's a rough sort of welcome to Kerr in the Premier League as well, conceding a penalty. And at moments, I think he looked a little bit dodgy as well. In the second half, I think it's Solly March got in front of him pretty easily, got back and recovered well. Kurt Zuma's still broken. He's not fit. He's not even slightly injured. He's massively injured. The guy he can't sprint. He's never the fastest centre back. But anyway, is there anything else you'd like to say?
No, not really. I don't want to do man of the match either, if you don't mind.
No, you're not getting one. Don't worry.
Good. They don't deserve it. They owe me some champagne so I can get drunk. Do you know what I mean? I'm not giving any one of them any champers.
No, just a horrible afternoon. Before today, the last 24 hours after Aston Villa got thumped by Palace yesterday, I thought, I'm so glad I've got Villa in the next game. Do you know the worst thing is? Aston Villa will be thinking, thank God we've got West Ham in the next game because we need somebody that we can beat. Not good.
No. Not good from us. We look like the worst team in the Premier League at the moment, and that ain't great.
Well, I assume we're bottom of the Premier League on goal difference now, so we are statistically the worst team in the Premier League this season, so we'll leave it there. Anyway, not that you've enjoyed this review, but if you've watched the video, maybe perhaps consider dropping a like on the video by clicking the thumbs out. It helps the channel out a bit. Subscribe if you're new to the Hammers Chat, and myself and Gonzo. We'll catch you tomorrow.